Hey everyone, so we're going to do another blind. This one's going to be a mid-proof blind, specifically a Buffalo Trace Mashbill number 1 mid-proof blind with these two right here. This benchmark single barrel 95 proof against this E.H. Taylor small batch bottle and bond 100 proof. Very similar to another blind that I did with these two, the benchmark full proof, 125 proof, and this stag, which was around 129 proof. Every one of these that I just showed you is all the same juice. It's all the same mash bill. Buffalo Trace's low rye mash bill number 1, but they're all different. Those two I showed you there, the benchmark is the budget line of Buffalo Trace. They aged around 4 years, and the stag, it's definitely aged longer. It has better quality control, the whole deal, and it's way more expensive. In that blind, the stag certainly beat out the benchmark foolproof, and I was able to tell it right away. But again, there's a difference in price. I got that for $78, which was a bargain. It should be like $200 and over in New Jersey, and the benchmark foolproof is $23. That's why it's one of my top best bang for the bucks. So now to these two. So those are, 125, 129, but consider those high proof. I would consider 95 proof and 100 proof sort of mid proof. Certainly not low proof, not super high proof. We'll call it mid proof. And why these two? Well, because first of all, they're only 5 proof points difference. Again, the same mash bill. Secondly, I have them on my shelf. Of course, a more perfect comparison, but I think it would just be even further apart, would be the E.H. Taylor single barrel. But I know from having that one in a restaurant, I never had the bottle in a restaurant against this one, that one was significantly better than this. And this is good. And that one was better. So this might be fair. So basically what we got is, we got a younger version. This is all mash bill number 1. We got a younger version of the same mash bill, except this is a single barrel, and maybe a slightly, I don't even know how much older this is. It's a bottle bond. It's got to be at least 4 years old. Maybe it's not that much older, but definitely more, quality control. And by that, I mean different warehouses, different levels, and it it should be a better bottle, one would think. And this is a small batch. Single barrel, 1 barrel. Small batch, theoretically, less number of barrels, but certainly more than 1. So basically, maybe we even the playing field a little bit here by having a single barrel that's maybe a little bit younger, maybe not taken care of as much, versus a small batch that maybe has some other advantages. So this may be actually fairly even. I will say one thing clearly straight out when I've tasted these two next to each other. I definitely like the foolproof better. As I said, it's the same age and everything else, but for some reason at that proof, any of the, I don't want to call them negatives, but any of the flaws or anything that tastes young seems to be kind of gets erased for me at that proof. I just don't notice it as much, whereas this one still tastes young, better than the regular benchmark Old number 8, better than definitely better than the small batch. Top floor, actually isn't that bad. But this still tastes young. So let's put these in glasses. We're going to mix them up, and we're going to get started. Okay, so we have the mixed up poured up. Have no idea which is which. Two interesting things. First of all, just a fact, similar to the price difference in when I said about the benchmark foolproof and the stag. Very similar proportionally here. This is $27. It's a little bit more than the benchmark foolproof, which is $23. I actually saw it in the store for $28. So this is the most expensive of the benchmark, and it looks like it's called $27. This I got for $80, which was a steal. Similar to the stag, this I just got a good deal, a really good deal, because these run, again, I see these for $200 in New Jersey. Very similar proportionally. These are way different in price in terms of what you would normally see. Let's see if they're way different in quality. I don't want to look at the color. And here's a very interesting thing, which actually I noticed when I did it against the foolproof. This could be this one. Now, this is a single barrel, so everyone technically could be different, even though there's no specific barrel information mark. I got to tell you something. The benchmark single barrel looked darker than the E.H. Taylor small batch. I was not expecting that. And I'm theoretically, this should be older, although I don't have a definite handle on the age. I think the stag is older than this, but this looked darker. So I don't want to look at it. Let's just give each a nose. Okay, I'm expecting more. I'm getting more out of the nose in this one here. Definitely my thought process is that this would be the E.H. Taylor. However, a little disclaimer, going back to the other comparison, when I did do my little smell test in the noses against this benchmark single barrel against the full proof, I got more out of the single barrel. I did notice that, even though the taste of the full proof was better for me. So that's not going to tell it alone. We'll say the nose is better on this one. Let's see the taste. Cheers. Okay, cheers. We may need some water for this. Hold on. Okay, I took some sips of water and a couple of sips of each one. So I wanted to make this easier, so I did that off camera. But I'm going to tell you something right now. This is either going to be really not, underwhelming, or it's going to be a real upset, because I got more nose out of this glass, but I'm getting a little bit of more taste out of this one. Here we go again, because this is, and I'll tell you something. So the Stag against the Benchmark Foolproof, I was definitely more noticeable. The Stag just tasted, much more refined. There was much more to it, and I was easily able to pick it out. This one less so. And there may be some balance with a single barrel versus a small batch, so this gives it a little bit more prop up, a little bit more of an advantage, which it needs theoretically against this. But so I'm saying more nose here. I'm getting a little bit more possible taste here. One more, and I'm going to give you my opinion. All right, well, to say there's a little more taste out of this one, I'm not going by the nose, because, again, I thought this one had some decent nose when I did it against a full proof. I'm going to say that this is the E.H. Taylor small batch. It's the Benchmark single barrel. This is amazing, okay? Oh, wow. All right, this is the first real upset in one of my blinds, which is actually kind of fun. So the deal was this. I said there was more nose out of this one, and the glasses are light. I said there was more nose out of this one, and I guess the E.H. Taylor had the better nose. However, I picked this one as having more taste. This is the Benchmark single barrel. Amazing. So let's just recap. You got 5 proof points difference, very even there. You really can't pick it out when the proof is that close. You got a single barrel here, you got a small batch. So again, the single barrel maybe gives this a little bit, props up a little bit. You would think it needs every advantage it could against this. And I picked the single barrel out. If I can tell you for a fact, I thought the E.H. Taylor single barrel was significantly better than this. So I'm pretty certain, not even a doubt, that I would have been able to pick that out. Because when you had those 2 single barrels, this one was better. But this single barrel against this small batch, that's surprising. Let me just, now that I know which one they are, let me do this once more. That's amazing. That's amazing. This is why we do blind. So you got your first real upset here. And I really do think, though, I used to love this spot, and I still do. But after tasting the single barrel, it's just a different level. So $27.80, which could be $200. Another example. In this one, this actually won. In the other one, against Benchmark, Foolproof, and Stag won. But again, similar prices. You can get, the moral of the story is you can get quality whiskey and not having to pay a ton. Certainly with this Benchmark line. I love the Foolproof, and apparently, I guess I like this one too. Certainly it was good enough to win in this battle. Cheers.